Hey guys, CryptoDad, and today I'm going to show you how to use the new Ledger Live app with your Ledger Nano S. So let's get going. Okay, so we've been waiting a while for the Ledger company to come out with an application for their Ledger Nano S that can handle cryptocurrency wallets. Up to this point, all of the apps that are available were Chrome apps. So they basically forced you to use Chrome in order to access any of your wallets using their software interface. Now they did have one Windows app for Ripple, but the Bitcoin wallet app and the Ethereum wallet app were both Chrome apps, and the Ledger Manager software manager that will allow you to add and subtract apps was also a Chrome app. So today's the day they finally released a Windows app, which is sort of an overall application for the Ledger Nano S. So let's go download it and check it out and see how it works. So I'm excited. Let's jump right in. Okay, the nice thing about this is that it's going to be a Windows app. So I don't have to use Chrome at all anymore, which was a little bit of a drag on the ticket because not everybody used Chrome as their default browser. So it was a little inconvenient to have to run Chrome just to use your Ledger stuff. So let's go over here to the Ledger homepage. I, of course, am using Brave. If you're not using the Brave browser, I would thoroughly encourage you to do so. I left a link down in the description. It blocks trackers and it blocks ads, and it will even pay you to watch high quality ads in BAT, the Basic Attention Token utility cryptocurrency. So check it out. It's kind of a cool new ecosystem. So anyway, I'm using Brave. Let's check out the Ledger apps link here, and there it is, Ledger Live. So let's download. And you can drop it anywhere you want. I'm going to put it in my downloads folder. I think that's the default for most people. Just going to click save. And then down here on the bottom, I can go ahead and open up this folder. Your interface may be slightly different. You would just go to your downloads. And here they are. And there it is, the Ledger Live desktop. I'm going to close that, bring this back up. Let's reduce clutter here for a minute and double click this guy and see what happens. Okay, so after I double clicked, I got this setup window. So we'll just let it install in the default location. You can change the folder where it installs if you have a mind to. And that was quick. I'm just gonna go let it run Ledger Live. Okay, you'll notice here that it put a icon on my desktop, which I'm not that crazy about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click down here in my taskbar and choose Pin to Taskbar. So I'll have that Ledger app down there. And then I'm just going to get rid of this thing. As you can see, I like a nice, clean, tidy desktop. All right, so I'm just going to click Finish and let this guy run. All right, so my assumption is it's going to wait for me to connect my Ledger Nano S and enter my PIN. Okay, got it upside down. So I'm going to need to enter my PIN to access any of the private keys on here. All right, so we've got initialize a new Ledger device, we've got restore a Ledger device, and we've got use a device that's already initialized. They even have a little trick down here to get you to buy one by clicking this thing. All right, so I'm just going to use a device that's already initialized. Okay, so we're going to choose Ledger Nano S and click Continue. All right, here they've got a little security checklist that's a bit of a fail-safe. The first question they're going to ask you is, did you choose the PIN code by yourself? And of course, most people's answer to this will be, yes, you did. If you bought a Ledger from a third party, like on eBay or Craigslist, and you know, they sent it to you and they already had a PIN set up for you, you don't want to use that ledger, you know, because that means that someone else has already initialized it and they probably have the backup phrase, and if you were to move any cryptocurrency in there, they could easily access those private keys by restoring that backup. So this is your first fail-safe check. All right, so we'll say yes to that. Did you save the recovery phrase by yourself? We'll say yes to that. And I guess that would even cover someone looking over your shoulder, right? You don't want other people to see your recovery phrase. It's a liability, okay? So all of these things, and is your device genuine? They have firmware on this ledger that will validate whether it is a genuine device, and so I'm assuming they can run that check from this piece of software. So I'm going to choose check now, and it wants me to connect and unlock, so I'm going to put in the passphrase now, my PIN. Okay, and now that I've entered the PIN, they want me to navigate to the dashboard, which is this this main screen. Without entering any of the apps, when you unlock the device, you're at the main screen. Now, if you were in an app previously, you might need to exit the app if you were in the Bitcoin or Ethereum app. In my case, I did not need to, but here it's asking me to authorize it to let the manager access the device using that button. So I enabled that. And it has determined that my device is genuine, which is a good thing. And so I'll just continue now. Now it wants me to add a password to this. You can or can't do it because you already have the PIN. So this is just an extra level of security on top of the PIN. I see. So there's some data that they store in the app itself that you wouldn't want anyone else to have access to, even without the ledger being connected. Count names, balances, that kind of stuff. All right, so I'll go ahead and put a password on this. And of course, please remember your passwords, guys. Figure out a system, write them down, use a password manager, memorize them. Whatever you do, keep a system. Don't lose passwords. When you use cryptocurrency, you have to manage your own passwords. So please, I have lots of sad stories over the last year that I've been doing this channel of people that can't remember or lose passwords. So please take extra care proactively rather than being the one that has to try to recover the password. Although if you were to lose this password, you'll still be able, you won't lose your crypto, okay? But it will be a hassle, okay? So that's the end of the CryptoDad lecture. All right, so we'll continue. Alrighty, do we or do we not want to share data with Ledger? That's entirely up to you. I don't really care to do it, but they are not allowing me to decline that, apparently. Share analytics, I don't really want to share. Automatically send bug reports. I'll just leave it at the default. I normally don't like to do stuff like this because it just adds a layer of complexity to something that's already complex, but I will go ahead and allow it. We'll hit continue, and yay, we're ready to go. Let's open her up and see what happens. It's a little blurb about trading safely and being aware of the volatility of cryptocurrencies. Now, this comes up a lot. People ask me, you know, how can I sell something off my ledger, you know, and I want to quickly sell something. So this is pretty common. People ask me about this type of thing. They'll say things like, well, if I put my Bitcoin on my ledger, what happens if the price goes up? Well, if the price goes up, then the Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin that you have stored on your ledger will also gain in value. The trick is being able to quickly, if you are a trader and you want to sell it, is to quickly transfer it back to an exchange where you can sell it to turn a profit or whatever. But in general, the Ledger is a device where you can store your crypto long term. It's more of a long term storage solution. If you're a trader, you might want to just leave your cryptocurrency on the exchange so that if the price fluctuates violently, you'll be ready to go. If you're an advanced user, then sure, store it on the Ledger for security, and then be aware of how quickly you can get it back onto the cryptocurrency exchange. Keep in mind that the Ledger is not really designed to be a lightning fast transfer device. You can transfer your Bitcoin back to a cryptocurrency exchange, but it goes across the Bitcoin network, and it's not going to be particularly fast, especially in high traffic times, like, for example, December of 2017. So be aware of this. Portfolio has no accounts for the first time Ledger Live is launched. Open the manager to install apps on your Ledger device before you start adding accounts to your portfolio. Okay, so I'm going to take a look at my Ledger, and I do have my apps on there. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and add an account here. And it'll be, see now there, oh, not all of these are installed on my app, on my Ledger. But let's just start easy. Let's go Bitcoin. I know the Bitcoin app is on here already. Just going to hit continue. It's a little more descriptive than the old style, which it didn't really give you any indication that you needed to open the Bitcoin app. It just didn't open. So at least now it's telling me, oh yeah, you need to go into your Bitcoin app. So I will do that. And now that the Bitcoin app is open on the device, the software acknowledges and I can continue. All right, and then it's going to synchronize with whatever accounts I have already created. Okay, so as you can see, you know, I've had several Bitcoin apps on here in Legacy and SegWit, and they're not named very meaningfully, but they were just sort of created by default. So, but I'm assuming that I might be able to change those later. So these are existing accounts. So I'll go ahead and add. And just for the heck of it, let's change the name of one of them. Yeah, just to see what happens here. All right. All right, so then it adds them up. And here we go. I can check them out and see that that one's empty. That one's also empty. And so is that one. And we can go to this one. And it has a small amount of Bitcoin in it. Okay, so here we can send and receive. And look at weeks, months, year. Pretty much, I guess it syncs up. The old app pretty much told you the value of your Bitcoin in dollars, right? All right, and then we've got our send and receive here. You know, if you want to send it, you send it out to an address. If you want to receive, it'll give you the receiving address. I've already opened the Bitcoin app here, and it wants me to verify that there's an address on here. All right, and it's a bit of a failsafe again here. So I'm just going to hit this. I can see the address there rolling by, and we just want to confirm that that's the same address that's showing on the app. Another failsafe, right? Okay, now that we've confirmed the device, the address on the device and the app are the same, then we can copy or re-verify or do whatever. The problem before was that sometimes if people had infected software on their computer, they were showing them the wrong address. So instead of sending money to their ledger, they were sending it to an attacker's address. The addresses were different. So this is just another fail-safe that they've built in. All right, so let's go back over here to the portfolio. And I'd like to add some more accounts. And I think what I'll do is, this time I will go exit Bitcoin here, see what happens. And let's go over to Ethereum. We can find it. All right. Enter Ethereum. If you've been using My Ether Wallet, you want to make sure contract data is on a no, and that browser support is also at a no. Right. Let's go back to the portfolio. This time we're going to choose Ethereum, and we'll continue. I've already entered the Ethereum app, so we'll hit continue on that. And it's going to populate the accounts with the default accounts that I created when I used the old app. And as you noticed earlier before, that you can change the titles if you want to. We could just call this one Ethereum Legacy, or My Ethereum, or CryptoDad's Ethereum, whatever you want to name them, if it helps you to keep things organized in your head. All right. So, and then you'll notice here that they're all sort of lined up really nicely here, so that see, so it saves the data in between the apps. It used to be you could only see each balance when you were entered into the app. Now I'm assuming if I flip back over here to Bitcoin and choose send, then they'll ask me to re-enter the Bitcoin app. So let's add another account. Let's add Litecoin. Actually, my Litecoin is empty. I'm not really that curious about it, but I will add Digibyte. All right. And of course, it's telling me now that I need to enter the Digibyte app on my device. So I'm going to exit out of the Ethereum app, and then we'll switch over here to Digibyte, and we'll hit both buttons. All right. So I'll just hit continue, and of course it's going to recreate the account in this app for the Digibyte account that I had some Digibyte in. And once again, they give you the freedom to create a different title if you want. So I'll go ahead and add that. All right, and then you can see over here on the side that I can check out the Digibyte that I have. It'll tell me how much it's worth. It's not worth a lot right now. And let's add another app. Let's choose, what else do I have on here? I think I have some Zen Cash on here. Let me see what that does. Oh, okay. So wants me to go into my Zen Cash app, which I'll do. There's my Zen Cash app. I'm going to enter that in there. Hit retry, and it's happy. We'll do that. Let it synchronize. All right, and I'm going to take this one off. Add the account there. So as you can see, it's pretty nice. You can add accounts pretty easily. It would be cool if you could switch the order of them. If anyone figures that one out, please throw it up in the comments, but I don't see a way to do it. There's really not much I can do over here to sort of like drag them up and down. I guess you could delete them, if that's even possible. Let's scroll down here. Or somehow remove them, maybe over here. Yeah, I could delete the account here off of the manager, and then re-add it later, I suppose. You could delete it off the manager, so it won't be included in the portfolio, but that's not going to delete the private keys to those accounts. They'll still be held on the ledger. So in this case, just to clean up the interface, I'm going to get rid of those 3 empties at the top. All right. And so there we got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Digibyte, and Zencash. And it's pretty cool that you can check them all out at the same time. Ah, okay, so if we, that's pretty cool. So if we go up to portfolio, we can see the total value of all of the cryptocurrency that we have on the ledger, which that's pretty nice. I'm not sure if I have anything else in here. So let me check here. Digibyte, we got Litecoin. Ah, Stellar. Ah, all right. So I do have Stellar, but you'll notice that Stellar, let's check. We don't want to do this. We can X out. Let's see if they'll let me play with Stellar. Okay, so you'll notice that they don't have an account for Stellar. Stellar can be stored on the Ledger Nano S. I have some Stellar stored on here, but it can only be accessed through the Stellar website, and they have an option there to access Stellar keys that are being held on a ledger, in much the same way that the MyEther wallet website allows you to access your token balances, your ERC20 token balances. So I like it. I like that it's a Windows app and not a Chrome app. So I don't have to use Chrome anymore. I can do everything from this app. It would be nice if I could view my ERC20 tokens in this, since I do have an Ethereum address stored on this ledger that does contain some ERC20 tokens, but that may be asking a little bit too much of them. And it would be nice if they had a way to manage or let me view my Stellar balance on here as well. But, you know, some of this may not be technically feasible. You know, the end user wants a lot of things which are not always technically feasible. And developers tear their hair out trying to accommodate end users or department managers that want their software to do a certain thing that is really not technically feasible. So I think they've done a pretty good job here of giving us a great interface, a nice, clean, nice interface that we can use to view all our balances and also send and receive cryptocurrencies and see what the current price is of the total assets that we have on here. So all in all, I give it a thumbs up. Before I go, I would like to mention that I have a live stream every Friday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's called the Live Q&A in LA or from LA. I invite you to join me and throw out any questions that you may have about the Ledger Nano S or this new live app or anything else that's related to cryptocurrency or cryptography in general. Hope to see you there. So if you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you would like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a bell that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new videos. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon.